Hey everyone, so I got a bit of a problem that I need to deal with. I've just finished setting up this ludicrously expensive, overpriced, triple tier Yorkville stand. I got some wooden shelves on it, and don't mind the coffee stains over there. I just finished setting up the keyboard, little slide out, move out of the way, slide out keyboard shelf. And I had a very long 4-hour trip, round trip, to get my hands on the Mother 32 and the subharmonicon, which essentially saved me about like $1,000. I basically got one of them for free, so hey, works out. But now I have a problem. I don't have enough I/O to plug in all of these synths into my system. I mean, would honestly prefer to have everything connected at all times. Like, this is not at all a mobile environment. This is supposed to be in one place for a very, very long time. MIDI cables I can source. That's not a problem. There's AliExpress, and those MIDI cables will do just fine. But the biggest issue is the interface. How to actually connect this stuff, all of this crap, to the computer. You see, I do own this Mark of the Unicorn MIDI Express 128. This was actually one of my very first investments, so to speak, in my music career, way back in, like, oh god, early high school days. So it has 8 inputs and 8 outputs. Is that enough? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I think, who knows, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a bunch of other crap later down the line. Let's be generous. Let's say there's like 10 pieces of hardware. My god, this light gives me like a murderer vibe to it. Normal person, serial killer. Normal person, murderer. Let's round it up and say, okay, there's like 10 pieces of hardware that need to be connected. That right there is now tapped out. Now, MIDI allows you to connect up to 16 pieces of hardware per each port, right? So there's 8 outputs and 8 inputs on this MIDI interface. You can connect, hypothetically, up to 127 devices to this one single interface. The only problem is that you have to rely on some sort of MIDI breakout boxes or special cables that can take one output and then split it like a Y cable, split it into 2. And you also have to rely on these synthesizers to have an onboard channel selector, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure anything on this shelf is the developers for these synths have been diligent enough to give us these options. And I'm pretty sure, let's see. The Neutron, yeah, so the Neutron has that little switch, 4-channel binary switch, so you can set it to a particular input channel. So yes, the hardware itself does allow you to select some sort of a target channel that the piece of hardware is only going to be reading from that channel. So I could set this to channel 1, 2, and 3, and all 3 of these will be running off of the one same cable. Technically, off one same cable, but what it really means is that you have to have some sort of a splitter or patch bay or some sort of a, I don't know, some MIDI interface breakout board in order to actually feed all of these 3 units from one single cable. A lot of these, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure all of these on this shelf offer a MIDI input and a MIDI output. Some synthesizers rarely offer MIDI through, which means you can plug in the MIDI in going into one synthesizer, and then MIDI through is going to come out and get into this synthesizer, which means technically, hypothetically speaking, it is all connected to one single cable. So you got one wire going in here, and then you get another wire going from here to here, and then from here to here, from here to here, and then all this other hardware they may have in your chain. In that case, yeah, you can connect up to 128 devices, well, up to 16 devices, sorry, per one single port. If you have 8 ports, you got 127 devices. Do these synthesizers offer a MIDI through? Let's take a look. Sup, fatty? Nope. That's MIDI in and MIDI out. Monologue? Nope. That's MIDI in and MIDI out. Also, thank you, Google Pixel 6, for absolute dog shit video quality. Monologue? This one's, well, I mean, this one's the more expensive one. Does it? Nope. Okay. Subsequent? Nope. You're just as bad as your freaking younger brother. So, I'm not even gonna bother with, checking these guys because this one only has MIDI input. This one doesn't even have a MIDI input. It has a 3.5 jack with a MIDI converter, which is... Don't do it, please. Music hardware manufacturers. Don't do this. Don't do this. No, no, just no, no. If you're designing a piece of hardware and you're considering this, I want you to sit down and I want you to think of who hurt you that would make you decide that this is a, in any way, shape, or form, an adequate solution. There is plenty of space on the freaking subharmonica for a proper MIDI channel. There is so much space. Look at all that space behind. I don't know why you have to torture us like this. No MIDI through on any of these synthesizers. How hard would it have been? Like what, an extra $2 in bill of materials? Really? I find myself in need of a MIDI breakout board. So, why don't we make one? For real. Why don't I try making a MIDI breakout board that takes in one single MIDI port and then breaks it out into 16 physical outputs. Well, I mean, it doesn't really have to do much. It literally can just be one input, 16 outputs. Experience working with MIDI protocol and programming microcontrollers, interpreting MIDI data. When I was cracked the secrets of MIDI protocol back when I was making lighting equipment, basically making just big background panels that are controlled by MIDI messages that are fairly simple in essence, but well, they did work pretty well. So I know how MIDI works. I've done MIDI input detection and MIDI output detection, so why not? See how it works out.